Indoor Football Weekly is a collaborative production of AltFantasy Sports and Off the Wall. Join us this week as Trey and Adam talk about all things IFL, from the All-IFL offensive and rookie teams to the playoff semifinals. You don't want to miss an episode, so make sure you're subscribed wherever you listen to your podcasts. And we're back with another edition of Indoor Football Weekly. That's Trey. I'm Adam. We are back. Trey, how you doing today? Great day to talk about some indoor football.
Oh, every day is a great day to talk indoor football, especially after a quadfecta of games. Don't know if that's a word, but I'm going with it. A quadfecta of games this past weekend to set us up for an intense couple of conference championship games.
It was a great quadfecta, not a trifecta, a full-on quadfecta. Unfortunately, that means in the playoffs, if we had a quadfecta last weekend, we only get a fecta this weekend. Yeah. 2 games on Sunday. A little bit of a rundown. We're going to break that down in the second half of the show. First half of the show, I'm going to see how many hot takes I can bait Trey into here and how many players Trey can offend who made this All-IFL second team and first team. I'm going to get Trey to disrespect as many IFL players and coaches as possible and blow his mentions up.
So you're trying to make my Tucson trip as awkward as possible if I run.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's what you're trying to do.
100%. And I hope you text me every time there's a DM, and I'm just going to start a thread that just goes, how many times did I succeed on X? And I'm just going to start a +1 in every reply underneath.
Fair. That's fair.
You know what? That's what we're doing next season, though, Trey. Just every time we piss somebody off to the point where they text us, we're just going to add a +1 to the thread. Just straight down all season, starting in January, see how long we can go. Yeah. All-IFL rookie team out. No major surprises here for me. Paxton DeLaurent. Do we know? How does he pronounce it? Someone said it was it's DeLaurent. And
I've heard him say DeLaurent, so I'm gonna go with DeLaurent.
And so you let me say DeLaurent for all these weeks we've been doing a show together and never correct me.
I've said DeLaurent with emphasis multiple times, but I've just kind of let you do your thing.
Yeah, but I kind of tune you out when you talk sometimes because it's just bro. It's what we do. It's what we got to do, bro.
That's fair, bro.
I don't think there's any other rookie quarterback who had the year DeLaurent had this year.
No,
it's just unbelievable. Fringe MVP candidate. If they hadn't voted on MVP yet and he managed to take down Liam Thompson on the road in Green Bay, I would have said, give the man the MVP now. Couldn't do it, but still just gaudy stats. I think he was number 1 in passing touchdowns and number 1 in yards. So really hard to not sit him atop the all-rookie team when you're leading the IFL in multiple passing categories. Coming up behind him at running back, Kyrie Robinson, unfortunately injured. Do we know how banged up he is? Is any chance we see him back on the field for the playoffs?
I think they placed him on season IR, so he's out for the remainder of this one.
That sucks. Trey, I agree with Kyrie Robinson. I think he's been an engine that just makes Green Bay go. I think Green Bay, how good they looked last week without him was a little shocking. And the fact that he's not on the field for them has me worried because they rave about him and talk about how important he is in the offense. Trey, what are your thoughts here at the running back position?
To me, it came down to 2 different players. It was going to be Robinson, but I think where they probably should have gone with was Caleb Ramseur over in Tulsa. There's 2. If you were to split up Tulsa season into 2 parts, there would be before Ramseur and then after Ramseur. They were 2-4, 2-5 when he walked into the door, and they just couldn't find any balance on offense. TJ Edwards is having to do all the rushing, and that's just not sustainable for a 16-game season. The moment he came in, he provided balance. He was able to get them 50, 60 yards a game. He cracked 100, I think, in a game earlier this year. Not just on the stat sheet, but the impact that he's had on the Oilers offense this year, it feels like the scale should have been tipped in his direction. But Kyrie Robinson had multiple 5-touchdown games this year, so it's understandable. He had the higher ceiling, but the consistency, I think, should have given Ramseur the edge here.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have an argument there. Ramseur was 8th in yards per game,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he was 10th in total yards per game. 636 on the ground, 220 through the air, 982, 13 rushing touchdowns. Add in another receiving touchdown, 14 touchdowns. All of that in 12 games, I think, is what's most substantial. So he might have been a little under the threshold, which is why he's not being considered. But I think you have a point. I think when a guy comes in and has that spectacular of a season, that matters. But I think that's the argument right there that really locks it in for me for Kyrie Robinson, because I think Kyrie Robinson was just so important for this Green Bay offense as a point. Well, no, it wouldn't have been a game minimum because Kyrie Robinson only played 8 games.
Right.
So Kyrie Robinson was just as dynamic and impactful for Green Bay as Ramseur was. 552 in 4 fewer games. I think that matters. I think that matters a bunch, and I think it's tough that you have 2 guys who are that good at running back. It makes it hard, but it's a great thing to have when you have players that are this talented all across the league.
Yeah, and rookie players at that. Like
The
the fact that
future
2 rookies. Yeah.
the future of the sport is great if these are what the rookies are doing. Just wait until they get to be vets.
100%. Yeah.
Moving outside, Deion Cook out of San Antonio, Seneca McKee and out of Vegas, and Jordan Davis out of Fishers. Trey, I don't think any of those guys come off the board. I think Deion Cook was critical to San Antonio's success, and the fact that they managed to that offense had its moments was because Deion Cook was as good as he was.
Yeah, all 3 of those guys, I think it's well deserved, and especially Seneca McKee. He stepped up in a big way when Deshaun Stoudemire missed some time. He stepped up as a clear-cut wide receiver too. When Randolph missed some time, he stepped up in those areas too. So I totally agree there. And Jordan Davis made some massive plays for this Fishers offense down the stretch as well. So yeah, no complaints with the trio there.
Yeah. Just as we're just looking at that, is there anybody else who would be your kind of first left off? Anybody that you're thinking of?
Besides Ramseur, not really. Like I know it's boring podcasting to agree
Well,
with what they did.
This is the all rookie.
I think they nailed it.
It's hard to come in as a rookie and make an impact, particularly at the skill positions. I think that matters. I think the fact that DeLaurent had such a dynamic season is really atypical for an indoor rookie. Like, that is not the norm. None of these guys led the league in anything. They were top 20, but they weren't leading the league. Rookies don't come in and make that much of an impact right off the rep. And maybe we could have some debate on the offensive line, but I know I do not know enough about the intricacies of offensive line play to bang the table for anybody. Seeing 3 guys come off of 3 good offenses, Raheem Anderson in Green Bay, Charles Turner in Vegas, and Baraka Beckett in Jacksonville all makes sense to me. 3 good lines.
Raheem Anderson is an interesting one to me because Andrew Carter was holding down that spot, and he got signed to the UFL this past season. And Anderson was playing so well that Carter came back, and Blizzard were like, we got to put you at guard. Like, this guy's crushing it. So if you supplant an all-IFL center as a rookie, you're doing something right. You're doing something right.
Yeah. Defensive line, Charles Rosser out of Quad City, Devontae O'Malley out of Orlando, Adam Anderson out of San Diego. Devontae O'Malley been, one of the more consistent players for Orlando along that defensive line. And that matters. Like, consistency matters. If you're a guy who, when everything is chaotic around you, you still are on the roster week after week, damn, you must be doing something right.
Yeah, I like the addition of Charles Rosser here in this one. He was very impactful for this Quad City defense that had their moments and had some moments on the back end where, like, what's going on here? What are we doing? But yeah, Charles Rosser was one of those bright spots, lining up next to Keyshawn Moore. That defensive line in Quad City was nasty. And Adam Anderson, he's really turned it on in the back half of this season. And there's a reason why San Diego is making a run in the playoffs, where you have a player of Adam Anderson's caliber as a rookie on your defensive line.
I mean, and I think
it makes sense.
We talked about how rookies don't normally come in and make an impact, but O'Malley, Rosser, and Anderson all top 10 in sacks right now. Yeah. And Rosser is fourth, and Anderson is fifth, all alone, and O'Malley's tied for 7. So all these guys came in, and Rosser and Anderson double digits tackles for losses as well.
Mm-hmm.
Big time. Linebacker Isaiah Major out of Vegas. Started the season in Jacksonville, didn't he?
Yeah, he played like 14 games in Jacksonville and then finished the season in Vegas. So it's awfully generous to get that Vegas logo on Major's name in this one.
Maybe it's where he finished.
He was impactful all season, and same with Herman Smith at that linebacker DB spot. He really rose up when San Diego looked like they were going to have a core of secondary players. Didn't work out as they wanted for one reason or another. He stepped in a big way and was very impactful.
Yeah. Defensive back, Yasin McKee and Carl Decius. Decius, damn it. Out of Arizona, and Justin Harrington out of Tulsa. 3 good defensive backs there. Arizona having the season they're having with 2 rookie defensive backs should be scary if I'm another team in the IFL right now.
Yeah, 29 interceptions as a defense. It set an Arizona IFL record, and Yasin McKee had 11 of those. So you have a rookie DB getting 11 interceptions. I think it's just a credit to what the Arizona defense has been able to do as a whole to be able to, get those opportunities for those guys to make those plays. But Justin Harrington, he's been sneaky good for this Tulsa Oilers defense as well.
Yeah. And then we're heading over kicker, Matt Cook out of Arizona, and Walter Wilbon is the kick returner out of New Mexico. Matthew Cook, second in points, first in PAT percentage, and up there in field goal makes as well.
Yeah, he was he was a similar situation to Paxton, where I was like, who else are you going to pick? Like, he's the guy. He's the guy in that spot.
Yeah. Teams usually use one of their vet spots on a kicker in this league. That wraps that up. Heading over, we've got the second team defense was announced. I think that's a good spot to head to next. Second team defense, Trey. Defensive line, Terry Beckner out of San Antonio, Charles Rosser, all rookie and all IFL second team, and Alan Henry out of Green Bay rounding it out. Trey, any thoughts there? Anybody? I mean, it's hard to say somebody's missing because we don't have a first team yet, so we don't know if a guy was left off the second team but is in the first team.
Yeah. Terry Beckner, I think, is a big one to be included on this D line. And San Antonio, their identity was strong defense because they had no choice. They had to play great defense because their offense was just so bad all year. And so it started on the front line with Terry Beckner. He was able to break through. I think he had double-digit tackles for loss and was dang close to having double-digit sacks too. Like he was a wrecking ball on that D line. And Alan Henry has been good year over year. And it just, like I said about Charles Rosser before, he was a wrecking ball on that Quad City D line.
Yep. Linebacker spot, Royce C. Linebacker DB spot, Devontae Merriweather. C out of San Diego, Merriweather out of Arizona. Arizona's had a great defense all year. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but this is a team that has shut down one of the most high-powered offenses in San Diego twice, pretty decisively. If you're going to contain Nate Davis and the Strike Force offense, most of your defense should be on the all-IFL defensive teams.
Yeah, Royce C, I think, is a great one. Glad to see his name included on that, and he's been in the league for a little while now, probably a little longer than people realize. Dating back to he was in Frisco for a couple of years and came over to San Diego in the past couple of seasons, and he is kind of the one calling the shots, and he's the one who blitzes in. He's the one who drops back and makes plays in the pass coverage too. So Royce C has been very impactful for San Diego, so very well deserved here.
Yeah, seeing a guy with 8 pass breakups and 9.5 tackles for loss at linebacker is not something you see every day in the IFL. It's usually you do one or the other. C does it all.
Yeah, he patrols the alley. He patrols the alley, from outside shoulder to outside shoulder of each guard. He patrols that entire area of the field very, very well.
So you mean to tell me, bro, that he is in the alley? and
Right.
dominates being in the alley.
In the alley. That's right.
Dun, dun, dun. Defensive back, Terry Roberts out of Vegas, Kevin Ransom out of Quad City, and Kieran Page out of Northern Arizona. Wranglers make an appearance here on the second team all defense. Nice to see them. They had some moments, and the defense was definitely the part of that. Any thoughts jumping off the page to you here? We obviously can't fully react to were there any snubs?
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'm surprised to see Kieran and Page on here, not because of Page being like Page is a great defensive back, but I'm pretty sure he got let go with like 4 or 5 games left in the season. So maybe that speaks volume to the impact that he had regardless of missing that last month and a half of the season. But yeah, Kevin Ransom makes a ton of sense. It seemed like he was getting an interception every game to start the season, and eventually teams just stopped targeting him. So like if you're not getting targets, you can't get interceptions, right?
You deserve to be on the list though, because that's where all knowers will know if you're not getting targeted, you're good.
Yeah. So Terry Roberts, he was also pretty good for this Vegas back end that had some shifting parts in the secondary, but he was one of those consistent pieces from the very beginning.
All right. Leaving defense behind, we don't have a first team defense to see if there were any snubs. Jumping over to IFL second team offense, Nate Davis at quarterback, Jimmy Robinson at running back, Nyquan Murray at wide receiver, Queon Williams at wide receiver, Quentin Randolph at wide receiver center, Kenny Furman, Ivory Scott, and Christian Coulter round out the defensive line or offensive line. Caleb Sutherland, kicker, and Josiah King, kick returner. Jumping over to the first team, we're just going to blitz through these and then we'll go back through. Quarterback, first team, TJ Edwards, running back, Puka Williams, wide receivers, Jerminic Smith, Arlen Bruce, and Karan Ashley. Center, Jalen Booth, offensive line, Chris Strouder, and LaQuinston Sharp. Kicker, Andrew Mevis out of Green Bay, and kick returner, Puka Williams, double All-IFL first team. Damn, that guy's good.
Yeah.
Trey. We'll get to snubs later. First reactions towards our first and second team IFL offenses.
I think they nailed the wide receivers. Like I think they absolutely crushed it. Jerminic Smith, the Triple Crown winner for this year, leading the league in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. He was in Penn. He was in Sharpie. He was in the most permanent marker you could find.
They chiseled him in stone. He was engraved into the thing.
Yeah, it was a lock there. And Arlen Bruce has been outstanding for this Arizona Rattlers offense. And Karan Ashley, he's over in Northern Arizona. He did a really, really good job of really stretching things for this Northern Arizona offense, especially on the back half of the year. I think he had 3 games in a row with 3+ touchdowns through the air, and his last one was 2. So 11 touchdowns in 4 games to finish the season. He left a good taste in people's mouths. So it's no surprise to see Puka Williams on there at both running back and kick returner. But to me, someone that it feels like was a missed opportunity, Aaron Jackson. He was a defensive back and kick returner for Tucson. The moment they put him at kick returner, good things started happening, and they were getting some prime field position and multiple kick returns for touchdowns. So I think Josiah King has been electric. Probably would have given the nod a little bit closer to Aaron Jackson based on what I saw this year.
Yeah. And obviously, like, Puka Williams put up stats, and he also has the absence of stats argument. It's wild that we're going to make that argument for a first-team kick returner, where we say, yeah, everybody changed their kickoff plan to keep the ball out of Puka Williams' hands.
Yeah, they were willing to put the ball at the 20.
Yes.
As a compromise to not give the ball to him.
Yeah, like Puka Williams just had an unbelievable season. Like, there's an argument for Puka to be made for MVP just because his all-purpose yardage was insane. He had 2,000 total yards, 665 rushing, 621 receiving, and 798 kicking. And then scoring 22 rushing touchdowns, 7 receiving, 4 kick return, and 4 missed field goals returned. Like 37 total touchdowns. And really the engine that kind of drove this thing. And I think if the passing offense hadn't been so prolific, even when he was slowed down, he would be the MVP. But I think the problem is ahead of him on the receiving list where all three of their receivers in T.O. Redding, Thomas Owens, and Naquan Murray. And I know it's hard to put multiple players from the same team on this list. But I don't know how I feel about only one Orlando Pirate receiver being on this list, because Murray, Owens, and Redding were just absolutely spectacular. They were 3 of the top 7 in receiving yards. They were 2 of the Owens and Murray were top 5 in receiving touchdowns. T.O. Redding came in at 13th. They were all top 7. Murray was 7th, Redding was 5, and Owens was 3rd in catches. It's just it's wild to only see one of them. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
It's hard to put that many guys from a team that was your 4th best team, but it was probably your best offense in the league.
Yeah, I just don't know who you would take off to make that argument. You can maybe take off Ashley, but the impact he had down the stretch can't be ignored.
I think if Karan Ashley played anywhere other than Northern Arizona, he would have been the Triple Crown winner. Because he put up 78, 9, 12, and 15 touchdowns with who was Naz's quarterbacks this year?
The little Ramon Atkins at the beginning and Anthony Garrett on the end. And Anthony Garrett was slinging it. Towards the end of the season. So, yeah, interested to see what happens when he comes back next year. That's a little teaser for some offseason stuff. But, this wide receiver group, I think they crushed it. And this O-line, big-bodied guys, like all across the board. Jalen Booth has been a stalwart, one of the pillars of the San Diego offense for years and years and years now. Same thing with Strotter in Arizona and Sharp over in Fishers. The reason why Fishers' offensive line has been so dominant is because of you got guys like Devon Donaldson and LaQuinston Sharp leading the way for Roberto, leading the way for King, leading the way for Harper.
They have Sharp listed as Jacksonville. Was he in Fishers?
He's in Fishers, yeah.
He's in Fishers, okay. So, shame on me. I'm going to do better next year. I'm going to know the offensive linemen more next year. But all that being said, again, offensive line nailed it. Kicker, Andrew Mevis, obviously the number 1, been the kicker. And Caleb Sutherland coming in at the number 2 makes sense. I don't think, and Matt Cook is on the rookie team. Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. I think you wanted to make sure you put all 3 of those guys on. Maybe you could argue Ernesto Locoya was left out. Maybe.
Yeah, he really wasn't as impactful on deuces consistently throughout the year. He was great on extra points. But yeah, I think what makes Callum Sutherland stand out, what makes Mevis stand out is being able to steal those 2 points on kickoffs pretty consistently and at a rapid rate. And the reason why Fishers was able to steal some of those games in the beginning of the year was because Sutherland had 3 or 4 deuces, and that was the difference.
Okay. Now we can get into the hot takey spot. Quarterback. No Liam Thompson.
Yeah.
No Jaden DeLora. And Paxton De Laurent with 64. Is that total? With leading the league in passing touchdowns and passing yards, is only All-IFL rookie. Trey, is this correct?
The conundrum at the quarterback spot was going to have 2 extremely good quarterbacks who had 2 really productive seasons on the outside looking in. I'm shocked that Liam Thompson's on the outside looking in. It feels like it should have been Liam 1, TJ 2 in terms of the first team, second team. But what Nate Davis has been able to do at the quarterback spot for the San Diego team, because he is the pilot of this offense. He is, for all intents and purposes, the offensive coordinator. He calls the shots on this offense. So I think that kind of plays into it too, where they had a 13-3 season with a quarterback / unofficial offensive coordinator at the helm leading things on the field. So I understand why it is the way it is, but I am shocked to see Liam Thompson not on there.
Do you think this means Liam Thompson is not the MVP?
It would be shocking if he won MVP based on this. Historically, we have seen quarterbacks on the second team win MVP. I think it happened with I want to say it was TJ Edwards and Nate Davis a few years ago. I think in 2023, where I think Nate Davis was first team, but he won Offensive Player of the Year, and TJ was second team, but he won MVP, or it was something along those lines. And we saw it with Jerome and Sam Castronova 2 years ago. So it would be shocking to see Liam Thompson win MVP, but not make either All-IFL team. Like that would just be insanity.
So who is your MVP then? Given that you've seen these teams, if you were going to make a bet tomorrow,
I would have to go with TJ, because what he's been able to do and grow with the offense and finish on that 9-game regular season winning streak, and then leading this team into the playoffs the way that he has, and he has really passed the eye test this year, where his numbers may not look like they're jumping off the page at times. He has looked really good throwing the football. And that's been something where he's looked really good running the football and pretty good throwing the football. He has really taken that next step, and he looks outstanding when he's throwing the ball across the yard all season long. So based on this, I would have to guess that TJ is in the running is in that lead spot, but it still feels like Liam Thompson should, based on everything we've seen so far. It's an interesting All-IFL team.
IFL calls you up, says, Trey, we're going to do an MVP presentation a la Heisman style.
Mm-hmm.
Who are your 3 finalists that you're calling to Tucson or to Radio City Music Hall to get up on to sit in the front row in front of everybody, and then you're going to call one of their names?
It's Liam Thompson, TJ Edwards, and Nate Davis.
You don't send your Minnick Smith to Radio City.
I would not. No, I think he's a etched in stone lock for Offensive Player of the Year. I don't think he's in the MVP category.
Okay, there we go. I mean, I think Liam Thompson still has a shot at MVP. I think it's a good shot. I think the fact that Edwards and Davis made the first and second team matters, but Liam Thompson had more total touchdowns than both of them. Now he was he might have been, no, I think he was more than TJ Edwards. I think this includes playoff games now. And he turned the ball over less than both of them. And he led his team to a great record, a better record than Edwards, and equal with Nate Davis. I think the thing that's hurting him is this feels like, based on what I'm hearing in San Diego, the last ride of Nate Davis. So as much as I think their ride ends this week, I don't want it to end. I want I think Nate Davis is done after this year, most likely moving on to coaching with plenty of expansion teams. Who knows? Maybe he ends up at this rumored Southeastern team. Maybe
you know where he lives in the offseason?
Where does he live in the offseason?
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Maybe he does a year as player coach in New Mexico. He had some good years for the Gladiators.
That's a different episode. That's a future episode.
That's a different episode. We'll get to the offseason foolishness.
Lock in.
But either way, it's going to be a great set of games. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back after the break. We're going to break down all the games. We're going to do all that. Trey, exciting weekend. Looking forward to giving everybody these previews. So we'll catch y'all on the other side. Now heading over to the IFL, Trey. 2 semifinal games on Sunday, 4 and 7:30. Another banger of a Sunday. Going to be great. After all the excitement that I'm going to have on Saturday, I'm going to need to just settle in with some rehydration and enjoy a doubleheader of IFL action.
A Yahoo Sports doubleheader a week after a Yahoo Sports triple header. What better way to spend a Sunday than watching football? And these 2 games are going to be great. The Eastern Conference Championship is going to be very, very fun. And then that Western Conference Championship. Can San Diego get the monkey off their back, right? Arizona's had their number this year. So can they overcome that at home? 2 very compelling matchups here.
Bro, 2 bangers on tap for this. Bro, do you believe we have 2 bangers on tap for this
Bro,
weekend?
I can't believe it. I can't believe it, bro. I can't. I truly
bro,
can't.
it's bro-tastic here. So excited. Yeah, Green Bay absolutely took it to Orlando last week, and Orlando
Yeah.
gave it their best shot. Like it really was like 2-3 plays that just undid Orlando. Like, let's talk through that. Like, let's talk through how we got here in the East. So we had Orlando and Green Bay, and it was really a bad middle third for Orlando. That second and third quarter, just getting outscored 43-25 is rough in the middle stretch there.
As soon as Green Bay scored right before halftime to extend their lead, that moment I was like, that's not good for Orlando. Like, they needed to go in less than a one possession, down less than one possession at halftime, and that felt like, I was like, man, that was your opportunity to get off the field, but they just couldn't hold Green Bay out.
No, I mean, both quarterbacks played flawless. 0 interceptions in this game. No fumbles lost, no turnovers in this game, just defensive stops. 15 passing touchdowns between the two of them, 7 for Thompson, 8 for De Laurent. It's just, it was everything you wanted in a game. Like, and it really was. It was that double dip at halftime that really did them in. And yeah.
Yeah, tough one for Orlando, and it's got to be hard if you're an Orlando fan like me. I'm a day one Orlando fan. Nobody's been a Pirates fan longer than I have.
You loved them when they were still the Predators, even.
It's yeah, oh yeah, way back. Yeah, it just, when you see your quarterback performing the way Paxton was in this game, if you just looked at it, just the offense, you're like, surely we won this game in convincing fashion. But the defense for Orlando has been a liability for them for the majority of this season. Ever since Rob Keefe left in week 3 or week 4, the defense has been a liability, and it's forced the offense to be as high powered as they have been, because you have to score 60 because your defense is going to give up 54. Like that was the recipe for Orlando all year. So when you meet an opposing offense that you cannot get off the field, that's trouble. So scoring 59 and losing by double digits is tough, but that just compliments to what Green Bay's been able to do this year.
No, and especially Green Bay really picking up DeMillan Brown, coming in and taking over the lead back work. Did great, 10 for 42 and a touchdown. And Trayvon Alexander had himself a day, 4 touchdowns through the air, 1 on the ground. Just Green Bay felt in control this entire game. Even when Liam Thompson, you saw it in the opening, Liam Thompson got into a few spots where he was just a little off and maybe just a little uncomfortable. He managed to move around. He managed to stay alive, and he found his guy. Like, this really felt like a Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen battle. And that's really, I think that's a really good comp for how these two guys play. Paxton's just a little bigger, little bit more of just a big arm. Not that Liam has a small arm, but just, I think of Paxton, and I think just, rocket launcher attached to his shoulder, and Liam's an absolute sniper. And Liam just gets a little messier at times. Like, he just has that little bit of scramble. It could just be the physical size difference too that does it as well. But they're both played spectacular games. Like, this is what you want. You want 2 young quarterbacks to just play some of the best football, playing the best football that they've been playing, to meet in the playoffs. And you just wish Green Bay hadn't gotten that double dip around the half.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was it. Scoring right before halftime and right after halftime. It was a 5-point game that quickly turned into an 18-point game. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough to overcome.
Yeah. In the other Eastern Conference game, Tulsa and Jacksonville, old school slugfest, defensive battle, 31-28. Jacksonville had a lead at halftime and only scored 8 second half points. Tulsa, meanwhile, goes on a 24-8, scores 24. When you get tripled up like that in the second half, that's going to be tough. You know, Jacksonville started okay, but it just, neither one of these offenses felt like they were firing on all cylinders in this game. And was that, do you think that was defenses? Do you just think that was nerves, or was it just some weird combination of it all?
I think the defenses came out and played really well. For Jacksonville's defense in particular, they had a very clear game plan that worked. It was no matter what happens, we're hitting TJ Edwards after every play.
Yeah.
And he got absolutely rocked on the first play of the game. And you usually don't see him get rocked like that. And the fact that they let the play clock go down and they called a timeout with 12 and a half minutes left in the first quarter kind of indicates to you that he was feeling it. Like that was a brutal hit to start the game. So to me, it felt like he got knocked off a little bit, but eventually got back in stride in the second half and got his wits about him. But for Jacksonville, it felt like they had a lucky break with that Sammy Edwards run, scramble for like 27 yards or something to open the game, open the scoring. From there, they really couldn't do much. And I think it's a credit to what the Tulsa defense was able to do. They kept everything in front of them and made life very difficult for Edwards through the air. He didn't score a passing touchdown until late in the third quarter. So it was. Yeah. I think both defenses deserve a nice little tip of the cap for their approach to this game and how well they played.
Yeah, and heading into this weekend's showdown, Tulsa's got to get their track shoes on. Like, there's no way you're going into Green Bay. This isn't old school blizzball where it's, a deuce off and whoever has the ball, the longest is going to keep the other person off the board. This is going to be a battle. Like, they need to be ready to score points because I don't think they're going to be able to contain Green Bay's offense after what we've seen from them this year. I mean, what are your thoughts? Can Tulsa contain Green Bay heading into this game?
Before I dive into that, I wanted to touch on one more thing with Jacksonville, Tulsa. If you're Jacksonville, this one hurts. This one hurts bad because you had the ball up 7 late in the fourth quarter, and you lost the game without ever touching the ball again.
Yeah,
that's tough. That's brutal. And so Jacksonville had a chance to put Tulsa away, and they just couldn't do it. They couldn't get it done. So it was one where it was at Jacksonville's fingertips. Like they had this game locked in. If there was a probability meter, the ESPN probability meter, it's probably like 85% Jacksonville at one point when they had the ball late in the fourth. But yeah, credit to Tulsa for after the game, some of the players were saying we didn't know how we were going to do it, but we knew we were going to do it.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what happened. So,
but good teams find a way to win. They find a way to win, whether it's good, bad, ugly, whatever.
Yeah, and that explains why they've won 10 in a row at this point and looking for number 11 this weekend in Green Bay. But I agree. I think Tulsa's defense is going to have its work cut out for them. But I think the key to Tulsa's success is going to be sustained drives on the offensive side of the ball. I think if we see Tulsa get the ball first, would not shock me to see a 5-6 minute drive where they do a handoff to Caleb Ramseur. They do a TJ keep. They do a short hitch to Germanic, like a 7-8 play drive just to take some of that energy out of the building and try to get on the board first. I feel like Tulsa has what it takes to be able to knock off Green Bay in this one. I really do. They're going to have their work cut out for them. Yeah. TJ's going to have an unbelievable game, and the defense is going to have to find those opportunities that not many people have. But I think this is the worst matchup for Green Bay in this playoffs.
This defense has to play like they played in May. They turned Liam Thompson over 3 times.
Yep.
And TJ Edwards was still early season. He wasn't in prime form yet. So with TJ Edwards in top form right now, if this defense can turn Liam Thompson over like they did, they can win this game. They can win this game going away because Liam Thompson hasn't really been turning the ball over as of late. He's looked much better. And, again, he's an MVP candidate. He is probably the front runner for MVP right now. And so just knowing that and knowing how this Green Bay team has looked, if the Tulsa defense shows up like that, TJ Edwards can win this game in a big way. And I think that's going to be really tough because if they don't turn them over and it's a track meet, I mean, Tulsa still could hang with them. It could look like it's a one-stop game. It's who gets the stop. It could very well just be Who gets the stop? Who gets the 4 and out? Who gets interception? Who forces a fumble? Who just makes that play when you got to have it?
And TJ has had some great games in Green Bay over the years. I think last year he had 120 rushing yards against Green Bay. Back when he was with Frisco, I think he had like a 10 touchdown game in Green Bay. So it's like the signs are there for them to be able to do it. And with Axel Perez playing the way that he is, and that clutch kick to end it last week, it's there. It's right there.
Yeah. So what's your pick in this game? We're gonna put you on the spot, and who's winning it?
It's gonna make some people mad, but I'm oiled up. Let's go.
I'm still uncomfortable by that. Like, just so we're clear, like that Jacksonville game is ending, and Trey just hits me with an oil him up. And
oil him up.
I am uncomfortable right now.
I think we see Tulsa pull it off. Like Green Bay has not lost at home this season, but like I said, I feel like the way this Tulsa offense operates, how opportunistic the defense is, and what they've been able to do on special teams, they're clicking in all three phases, and I don't know. There's just something about this Tulsa team.
So you talked about it, like Jacksonville kept it close because they hit TJ every time. Mm-hmm. Green Bay has a good front. Can Green Bay hit him like Jacksonville did? What is your thought on that?
I think they can, but I think Tulsa's going to have to adjust their strategy and not go bombs away immediately to allow TJ to get into a groove. And that's what happened against Jacksonville. They were going for that 45-yard bomb right off the rip. The Jacksonville defender got through, and he got a clean shot on him. So it feels like, all right, let's not do that again. Let's not open up TJ to getting rocked on play one. So that's why I said like that first drive script for Tulsa is going to be huge, to try to dink and dunk down the field, take some time off the clock, take some of that energy out of the building. The rest center's going to be rocking. But yeah, Green Bay's going to bring it. They're absolutely going to bring it. It's going to be a great game.
I think Green Bay at home is just big. Do we have a line on this yet?
It's 3.5.
Yeah, that feels right. Home field. 3.5 for home field feels about right. Yeah. I don't know how. 3.5, a home field number. I like that. But I'm taking Green Bay. Just the way this team has been playing, the way they've just – I think they're the best team in indoor and 50-yard football right now. Mm-hmm. And I would be hard-pressed to pick anybody over Green Bay right now, just with how dominant they looked, how they can beat you in so many different ways, and they don't show any signs of slowing down. They're going to win ugly. They're going to win pretty. They're going to win gritty. They're going to win it any which way, but they're going to win. And so give me the guys who are just rocking that, and give me the power of friendship, baby. The power of friendship in Blizzball.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun game, and it's much like the Western Conference game. I can see it going either way. I would any outcome that comes out of this game, I'm not going to be shocked by.
And great news, we do get Mike Babchick on the sideline in Green Bay.
It seems like he just belongs in Wisconsin. Like he just seems like he and the Wisconsinites up there will get along very nicely.
I think he belongs everywhere. But that's just me. I enjoy his antics. This is our non-on-field comment, but it's a half a comment, so we're going to go longer because he is just absolutely spectacular. Mm-hmm. He brings the right level of serious irreverence to the entire thing that just chef's kiss. I know it's not for everybody, but I have a ball with it. Right, bro?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, totally. Bro. All right. Western Conference, Arizona Rattlers, Vegas Nighthawks. Mike Davis successfully bullied me into changing my pick last week, and I should have stood my ground. Coach, well done bullying me into changing my picks. If you're watching, I should have stuck to my guns, but it was a good game. It was a great game. We just had great games. Everything was close. Even that Green Bay Orlando game, which was like a 2-score game, was still closer than that. It wasn't a blowout. None of these games were a blowout. Everything was hard fought. Everything was well fought, and it was good football top to bottom. If you just anchored down on your couch, you were treated well on Sunday by the IFL.
Yeah, Vegas, Arizona was a fun one, and it's the old saying, it's hard to beat a good team 3 times. That happened here, where Vegas got the best of Arizona twice, including the IFL Cup, and Arizona just especially in that second half where they were able to take over the game and really bully this Vegas team, which is not a sentence you have really heard.
I don't know that I didn't know that combination of words existed in the English language.
Yeah, the defense played exceptional in the second half, and they were really able to limit this Vegas offense and not really allow them to get going, especially when on the final two drives, Vegas had to eat a lot of clock to go down the field and dink and dunk. So credit to Arizona for a superb defensive performance on the ground. They were running the ball well. Didn't really pass the ball very well in this one.
Nobody passed the ball well in this one. Max Myler, 7 of 18 for 63. And don't look now, but Jayden de Laura, 9 of 21 for 122. Like, both of these defenses came to play and said, we're going to play hard. And they did. Like, it was a defensive battle. It wasn't Trey. Is a defensive battle like this where the teams are struggling to move the ball bad for the sport?
I don't think so. I think the indoor football rules more accurately reflect what the outdoor, like if you took the outdoor game and brought it indoors, that's what the IFL basically is. Obviously, they have some modifications.
I'm giving you a hard time, bro.
I know, and I'm speaking on it. Yeah, I don't think so. I think there was a lot of the O's and woes and the ups and downs of this game.
There was
like, God, so close. God, if de Laura could have just took a little bit off that pass, so there was a lot of that tension in this one where it was like, man, 1 yard this way, 1 yard that way, that changes everything with this. And credit to Max Miley, he couldn't really get things going through the air, but he was able to get things going scrambling on the ground where it was a 3rd and 4, he got 5. If it was a 4th and 3, he got 4. Like, he found a way to make the plays when they needed them.
And that's what good players do. Like, good and great players find a way to get it done when the chips are down in those moments. Little bit of speculation. Do you think there was some rust for Jayden de Laura? Do you think that if JDL maybe played a few series last week, does this game come out differently?
Potentially. But unfortunately for Vegas, Jayden de Laura plays on one side of the ball. And the bigger problem for this Vegas team was on the opposite side of the ball and getting Arizona off the field. Yeah. They just couldn't do it enough. And so there were times where it just felt like Vegas was undersized on the D line and on at the linebacker spot, where it was like, you got big old boys on the line like Strotter and Kimbrough, and like it seems like the Vegas D linemen are more of that. All right, our offense put us up by 14, pin the ears back, we're pass rushing, and that's not what this game was. So they weren't really able to play to their strengths as much as they would hope.
Other than Western Conference semifinal, another good game, despite it starting kind of ugly. Tucson battled back and made this one a game. Wasn't going to go quietly into the night. You texted me early that it was going to be a rough Jerome Johnson night, and it was a rough Jerome Johnson night through the air. Yeah. But Jerome Johnson stepped up and did, like we said with Max Myler, big-time players make it happen, whether it's through the air or on the ground, and he made it happen on the ground. 87 yards, including a 45-yard touchdown dash. Just absolute pure grit performance. Dragged the Sugar Skulls back into this game. And you know what? He said after the game he's looking forward to 27. A year with Tucson, getting everything settled, getting everything set. Could be a really interesting Sugar Skulls team. And unfortunately for them, they had to run into the San Diego Strike Force, and Nate Davis had another classic Nate Davis performance, but added a little bit with his legs, 15 yards rushing. Said Bonner talked about it a lot on the broadcast, but he's not wrong. Like, that was a atypical game for Nate Davis to run that much. But
not just tucking and running, he was moving the pocket at times where, like, all right, the D-line is crashing down to the left. Let me just roll out right, buy myself some time, buy my receiver some time. He did that like 3 or 4 times in the first half. So it's like, okay, this isn't an added wrinkle where they're running a read option where usually in the regular season, 9 times out of 10, it's just a straight handoff. But he's tucking it and running and rolling out. So it was an interesting wrinkle.
Yeah. And San Diego fed Vander, 15 touches for 59 yards. No touchdowns, though. Tucson kept Vander out the end zone, but they could not keep Jalen Sample out the end zone.
No,
5
not at
receiving
all.
touchdowns. Just it was another great game. And again,
Yeah.
it felt like it could get out of hand when San Diego went up 17 late in the fourth, but Tucson just battled back, stayed in the game. I mean, and a couple bounces go a different way on an onside kick, and all of a sudden Tucson's in this thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tucson battled back, but they just put themselves in too big of a hole. And like you said, against a team with the caliber of players that this San Diego team has, both on offense, defense, and special teams, just across the board, you can't be putting yourself in a hole that early. I think Jerome might have started like 2 for 9 or 2 for 8 or something, and just empty possessions early. They were able to claw back and make it a game despite that. But yeah, a full year with Jerome Johnson at QB for the Sugar Skulls team could be very, very exciting. So I'm curious to see how many other pieces get brought back and in the offseason what they end up doing to fill that offense around him.
Yeah. All right, so we got the showdown in San Diego, 7:30 Sunday night. We've got San Diego Strike Force taking on the Arizona Rattlers. Trey, keys to the game for each team. Who you got?
Keys to the game, we need for San Diego, they need a good Nate Davis game. The last time these two teams played in Oceanside, Nate was just off. And credit to Arizona for keying in on him and getting some pass rush there. But even when the pocket wasn't collapsing on him, he was 1 yard off to the left, 1 yard off to the right, overthrowing his guy just a little bit. Just a super atypical game. So we need a solid Nate Davis game in this one for them to be able to pull off this win. And for Arizona, it's the same thing, that quarterback spot. I was not really impressed with what Max Myler was able to do last week against this Vegas secondary. Secondary for Vegas is good, but when you're the reigning IFL MVP, kind of expect you to be able to step up in those situations through the air. So what Arizona is able to do through the air, they have a good ground game that was very impactful and very successful for them last time these two teams played, but they're going to need a little bit more out of Max Myler this week.
Yeah, they need to not average like 32 points, which is what they averaged previously against Arizona, which has me really worried for the Strike Force because Arizona has been the only team this year to be able to shut them down.
Yeah.
In July, 36 on a Monday night game, and earlier in the season, 27. They had no other games where they were under 40 this year.
Yeah.
So just knowing how well Arizona plays this team, the only game they were even close to that was Tucson, week 20, when they were playing some backups.
Right.
And no Nate Davis. So it's hard to beat a team 3 times. The Strike Force have the vibes right now. The vibes are good out there in San Diego. Front wave should be rocking. If both defenses come to play like they can, who can win an ugly game? Who's more likely to be able to win an ugly game?
If it gets ugly, probably Arizona. If it just gets one ugly, probably San Diego. Like
what is ugly and what? How many? Okay, so we have a normal game. Okay.
Yes.
One ugly out. What does one ugly out look like?
I think one ugly out is defense gets a stop first drive, other defense gets a stop first drive. Into the first quarter is 7-0. To me, that's ugly for these two games, for these two teams.
What's
ugly
uglies out?
Ugly is it's 10-6 at halftime because neither offense can really get things going. And if that's the case, Kemo Clark, Ron Brown, Max Myler on the ground, it seems like they're going to win those rugby scrums in those situations.
So if we get to 3 uglies out, what does 3 uglies out look like?
That's a triple negative, and then that becomes a kicker's duel, and then it goes back to San Diego. So I get so ugly is San Diego, ugly is Arizona, ugly back to San Diego. That's analysis, folks.
Okay. What are the odds we get the second half where Arizona's down and we get, oh my God, it's Dalton Sneed running out the tunnel with a steel chair?
I think the odds are better than I think anyone would care to admit. Just because why do you
Would
make
you
that
go
sign?
to Dalton Sneed if you're okay? Halftime, Kevin Guy's down 18 points. Arizona's down 18 at the half. Nate Davis is balling.
Yep.
Who comes out the tunnel at quarterback? Nate or oh Lord, Drew Powell, Dalton Sneed, or do you stick with the guy who brought you Max Myler? It's old school the jersey. You put on your grandfather's jersey and you're transported into Kevin Guy's body to make that decision at halftime.
Yeah, Drew Powell didn't dress last week, and I think that's damning for his eligibility for this situation. So it feels like we'll get a Max Myler with Dalton Sneed dressed as backup. In that situation, I wouldn't be surprised to see Sneed make an appearance.
Oh, I wasn't saying.
I really wouldn't.
Would you be surprised? What would Trey do?
What would I do?
That switch.
It would be tough to throw in a guy who hasn't played in 21 weeks at all during the regular season, going back 365 days. That would be tough for me. It would have to be a doomsday scenario for me to put him out on the field. You brought Max in for a reason. Let him ride it out in that spot. But I think if we're looking at picks, we're looking at winners here. My preseason pick was San Diego to win the championship. I feel morally obligated to stick with my guns, and I think that they can do it again. I think they can win it and meet up with Tulsa in the IFL National Championship if all goes according to this brain here. We'll have to see. But yeah, I like the San Diego team, but they just got to find a way to get past this Arizona defense that has been giving them fits.
Yeah. I love San Diego. I love Nate Davis. But you said it. The team that has more ways that they win, I like them. I like Max Myler. He showed you something last week, just putting the team on his back. Almost more rushing yards than passing yards out of your quarterback, and you still win the game is huge, even in the indoor rule set. Quarterbacks should always throw for more than they rush. And if you're in a spot where your quarterback is within 4 yards of his rushing and passing totals and you still win, you're going to be able to win any which way. And I think that matters. I think that matters so much. And I just think the fact that it wasn't like Arizona won a shootout with them twice. They bludgeoned them with defense twice and just forget Rattlers. They turned into the Arizona boa constrictors against San Diego and grounded the strike force, hitting all the metaphors there. And defense travels. Like, defense travels in every level of this sport, and I think that matters. So I think this is Arizona. Do we have a number on this game? Is it it's probably 3.5?
3.5 for Arizona. San Diego's home dogs.
Yeah. Oh, that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think being the number 1 seed and being disrespected like that at home.
Being a home dog is crazy. But also not. But also not.
I don't think it's wrong. Like, I don't think it's the wrong number. I think the defense traveling matters, and I'm going to stick on it. I'm going to stand on it. No coach is going to come in the chat and bully me. Head coach, defensive coordinator, whoever shows up in the chat, I'm standing on Arizona and Kevin Guy, and we're going to get a blizzard. We're going to get a matchup of 1 seeds, and what I think will be like the first time in IFL history that both 1 seeds make it with Arizona's a 3.
Yeah, I was about to say.
No, sorry. They're favored. So favored. But not the number 1 seed. Arizona, Green Bay, and Tucson just feels like it.
Yeah, and there's a good storyline there with Max Myler and Kimo Clark facing their former team in the same building where they came up a little bit short 1 year prior.
Liam Thompson versus Max Myler, in what I think will be a showdown of last year's MVP and this year's MVP. That's a storyline right there. The kid taking down the old guy, like, it matters.
Damn, calling Max Milan an old guy.
I mean, for indoor, he's an old guy. I mean, what's he on? Year 5? He's on year 4 now.
I think year 4, yeah.
He's a vet. Vets are old guys in indoor. As soon as you hit vet status, you're an old guy in indoor. We know this, Trey. Like, there's a cap on vets on each team. Some teams don't hit that cap. If you hit vet status, you're an old guy. You're not quite an unk yet. Nate Davis is an unk, without a doubt. Dalton Sneed, if he plays, is an unk.
Yeah.
Those guys are unks in this game.
They need a designated unk roster status.
Yeah.
They need one unk roster spot, and we'll pitch that in the offseason.
Ooh, I like that. One unk roster spot for but everybody's going to use it on their quarterback.
So be it. I'll allow it. Let's go.
You just want somebody to bring Dalton Sneed out of retirement.
Maybe.
Are we sure Dalton Sneed isn't just such a baller that he's been like playing in some soccerplex league, wearing like a visor and never taking his helmet off, and just like he hasn't secretly been just staying in perfect shape, ready to go, waiting for the call?
What's the name of the Eli Manning TV series that they
Chad Powers?
Chad Powers, yeah, a little Chad Powers action.
10 out of 10. Chad. Yeah, I mean, in the next season of Chad Powers, if he doesn't leave college and go to the Indoor Football League, I'm disappointed. Chad Powers definitely played indoor football at some point.
I'll reach out to Glenn Powell, see if he'll open my DM. But yeah, I think there's compelling storylines for every single matchup that we can get, whether it's Arizona Green Bay, whether it's San Diego Tulsa, whether it's San Diego Green Bay, Tulsa Arizona. There's some compelling storylines for all of them. So I'm very excited to see how everything plays out.
It's going to be great, folks. Grab your popcorn, grab your brews, text your buds, and watch some ball on Sunday. Trey, anything you need to plug before we get on out of here?
Yeah, I got a new episode of Off the Wall dropping tomorrow on Thursday, if you're not listening to this live. No guest this week, but we do a mailbag episode where we kind of dive into some questions, comments, and hypotheticals that get thrown our way. So dive into that. Had some fun answering some of those. So good episode in my humble opinion. Off the Wall FB, F as in foot, B as in ball, across all socials, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Yep. And y'all, if you're not subscribed already, make sure you're subscribed to us on wherever you get your stuff. Also, make sure you check out Indoor Football Weekly. You'll get our IFL section. But you'll also get us talking about the IFL teams. All rookie and offense dropped today. So we're going to talk about that. Check that out. Available on Indoor Football Weekly over on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or, if you want another podcast platform, just let me know. Pretty easy to stand it up. Just let me know. I don't know of any other ones, though. So that's Trey. I'm Adam. It's been another great episode of Arena Football Weekly. Trey, last weekend with 2 leagues playing. It's one of the
enjoy every moment.
Enjoy every moment, because you don't know what you got till it's gone.
That's right.
They pay paradise and going to put up a parking lot.
Bars.
Going to make us watch outdoor game. So, all right. We'll see y'all next week.